Good evening, and thank you for joining Local 5's first 5 p.m. here on WFRV Plus. I am your host, Indiana Shields, back bringing another edition of the show. Thursday football, not in Green Bay, but we do have Thursday football to talk about. We'll bring in Daniel Schuster right away. He's only going to stay for the first part of the show. He's a hungry boy.
I'm a hungry boy.
He's been working hard today, and he has one
understanding.
heck of a story. So we're gonna keep him here for about 10 minutes. Then we're gonna let him loose to wherever. You picking something up? You making something today?
I'm making something.
What are we making?
I'm actually really excited for this. I got duck breast from Festival Foods the other day, and I was walking down the aisle. I was like, I haven't had duck in a very long time.
I don't think I've ever had duck.
I've had duck. My friend group back at home is like super diverse in who they are, and the one group is in particular are a bunch of like rednecks to say the least. And like I remember just some mornings we would wake up after camping in his property, and then his dad would just cook us like duck over the fire, and that was the last time I had it, and it was so good. But I don't think I'm going to do it any justice.
Well, hey, you know what? You'll at least put a good effort into it. In the worst case scenario, Uber Eats or DoorDash.
Yes, sir.
Too,
but
so.
I got backup options. I got leftover spaghetti.
Very nice.
In case anything fails.
Awesome. Well, you'll have to let me know how that ends up.
Yeah.
You here tomorrow?
Yeah, I got it marinating in this marinade that I made with like orange, ginger,
Look at you.
soy sauce. I love cooking.
I mean, I'm a big guy. I would love to do more cooking, but I always think it just takes too much time.
Too much time. My biggest thing is the effort afterwards. Like I put in so much effort to these meals, and then afterwards I have to clean up, and then I don't even feel like eating it. And then I'm like, I don't even feel like I deserve this.
Now me, being a lazy piece of you know what.
Oh no.
I'm just like I would rather play video games. Yeah, that's the state of my life right now. Don't turn out to be 26 in Indy, okay?
Throw something in the oven. Play a video game.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, we'll talk about your story a little bit. You had a very, very cool story. Today, the American Red Cross honored a Herkman employee for his life-saving actions. Mr. Joe Vanden Elzen, he actually saved his coworker's life after a sheet metal apprentice, Shane Quick. He suffered a severe injury when a piece of expandable metal sliced through both of his veins in his right arm, and he was bleeding out, essentially.
Yeah.
Vanden Elzen rushed to help. He applied a tourniquet, keeping pressure on the wound until paramedics arrived. That actually ultimately saved his life and likely prevented amputation of his arm. You want to talk a little bit more about who Joe Vanden Elzen is and, kind of his whole shebang, and then unfortunately I don't have the package to show because it airs in our 6, but you can go ahead and give it a little preview.
So Joe Vanden Elzen, regular day at work, just another day. He's working on his own stuff, and Shane Quick is an apprentice, and he is and I'm no blue collar. Let's get that out of the way. So I hope I'm explaining this the right way, but he was cutting coil from a pipe, and the vibration had distorted the saw, I suppose.
Yeah.
And went down and, jolted his arm up, and then he sawed the 2 veins in, when you go to the doctor's appointment and they take blood. Yeah. That very direct part.
Oh, my goodness.
I could show you on the, literally directly across right here. And that's, crucial veins.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
So, he started bleeding out. And, I feel like I would have just immediately dropped to the floor, fainted, or just started screaming. But Shane actually had the power to run and find somebody. I feel like that's also a huge part of the story too, because had he not done that, who knows how this would have ended up if he had not found help. So he finds a Joe, and Joe's just like, oh, Shane must be in a hurry because he's running. And he ends up falling to the ground. Shane does. And Joe meets him ground level, gets to his knees, and sees that there's a ton of blood losing. And so while he gets someone to apply pressure to the spot of the wound, and he takes off his belt and applies a homemade tourniquet. And that eventually, and wait for paramedics, and then they take him. And Joe also, once he cleaned himself up a little bit, him and their safety director, Corey, they ended up following Shane to the hospital. Shane spent the weekend in the hospital. He got 2 surgeries, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. This was back in August, by the way.
Okay.
To preface that a little bit. and then full recovery. He's doing just fine. He's back to work.
That's isn't that crazy?
And and today American Red Cross presenting him with a life-saving award, which they give out to people who don't have the necessary training, like the specific Red Cross training to know how to do the actual life-saving efforts. So, and another fun fact, before today, there were already 7 people in Wisconsin who got that award.
Really?
This year.
Okay.
Just this year. So there's 8 now in total.
Yeah. But
I mean, that story is just
quick thinking off the top of his head to take his belt off and apply a homemade tourniquet. Now, from what I understand, tourniquets are actually extremely painful, but they are super life-saving. I mean, that it cuts off the blood supply, so it's not really spurting out and there's no more. But, it's just to have that awareness in that situation is incredible. And you got to talk to Joe today. What did he really say about kind of the incident?
Super humble guy. Super duper humble. I asked him if he was shaken up at all after it, and he goes, well, because like going home after that day of work, and you see the wife, you see the kids. How was work today?
It saved a life.
Yeah, a little different than previous days, but he said he goes, you just got to remain calm. And apparently he said that he's always been interested in safety precautions and what to do if something like this happens. And he because where'd you learn that you knew you had to do a tourniquet? He goes, just research and going through this stuff on my own time and finding it out through the years.
And to be able to, like I said, just work calmly under pressure.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was a huge thing as well.
Yeah, he said just staying calm and if anybody else is in this situation, drop the work. It can wait for later.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then he said he followed him to the hospital, which was really nice to be able to stay up to date with how he's doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, he said that he mentioned that he wasn't going to leave the hospital without seeing Shane before he left. And another part about the story that I ended up throwing in there because I thought it was too good to leave out. Corey, their safety director, he was really choked up during the ceremony today and just super proud.
Yeah, no, definitely a sense of pride when something like that happens.
Super duper proud and just he's impressed to know that he has someone who is capable of doing that and it was just really cool to see. It was almost like a father-son type. Like he was as proud of him as if it was his own kid who did that. So
for sure.
It was really, really cool to see.
Yeah. Do you think Joe donated or gave the belt to what's his name?
Needs to be in a museum.
Yeah, right. Oh, hey, here's a little memory of now that he made a full recovery, you can obviously joke about the situation and stuff like that. But
they were too. One thing Corey said during our interviewing, he was like, they're like, oh, explain your day or whatever. He goes, it was a weekend, so I wasn't working, and I got a call and ended up not finishing my grass. And he looked over at cutting my grass, and he looked over at his. So
it's fun to be able to banter about certain situations that look dire, but eventually things worked out well and
super nice story.
So Daniel's package will air in our 6 p.m. show, which you can catch here right on WFRV Plus after my show. But anything else to add or?
No, I mean, if you're interested in learning about how you can potentially save someone in this sort of scenario, you can go to Red Cross's website.
Yeah, Red Cross has a bunch of good information and resources for you. That's been Daniel Schuster. I want to thank you.
I'm so sorry to leave you.
No, it is A-okay. I do appreciate you taking 10 minutes out of your very busy schedule, staying late, to be able to talk with the viewers and stuff like that on my show. So it does mean a lot to me, to them, to everyone involved. So we're going to head to our final first commercial break. And when we come back, I'll discuss a couple other stories in our community. And then I'll give you my predictions for week 11 of the NFL. All right, guys, be right back. Welcome back here to Local 5 First 5 p.m. I think we're calling this the WFRV Plus studio now. We used to call it the OBS studio just because OBS is the broadcast system that we use. But I think we're turning this into the WFRV Plus studio. I think that's what it's called now. Anywho, The government's back open. So, you know what that means? We have a slew of federal court cases to update you on. It was really funny that me and my coworkers, we used the Wisconsin Department, or excuse me, the Wisconsin, excuse me, geez, I can't think of what I'm trying to say. The United States District Attorney's Office, and then there is an Eastern District in Wisconsin and Western District. They handle all the federal court cases. So they weren't getting updated. Not all the federal court cases, but a good amount of them that we cover, and they weren't being updated. We are like, what happened? Why is nobody? Why are we not getting anything? So like our last updates or press releases were from September 29th. Well, one of our, I don't remember exactly who it was in our department, but we're like, the government shut down. There's nobody to write these press releases and dish them out. Well, the government is now back open, thankfully, and that means all those court cases that were delayed have now come out. So the Western District hasn't posted anything, at least at the time I checked last. They should be coming out with a decent amount. Eastern District, they ended up rattling off 4 different press releases today. So we'll start off in where are we? I believe this was on the Menominee Indian Reservation. A 41-year-old Wisconsin woman. She was sentenced to 5 years for 5 years in prison for a drug-related crime on the Menominee Indian Reservation. Diana Chevalier pleaded guilty to possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine. She also will serve a 5 years of extended supervision following her prison sentence. Court records show that Chevalier was a passenger in a vehicle that fled from Shawano County law enforcement back on September 10th, 2024. The pursuit continued onto the Menominee Indian Reservation with tribal and county officers following the vehicle north through Kashina until it stopped near Crow Settlement Road and Wisconsin State Highway 47. Chevalier and others attempted to flee on foot toward a nearby residence but were apprehended outside. Authorities said Chevalier had multiple plastic bags containing a total of 43.11 grams of methamphetamine on her person. At the sentencing, the judge highlighted Chevalier's lengthy criminal history, the seriousness of the offense, noting the harm caused to the Menominee Reservation and other communities by abuse of controlled substances. The next one up, a Wisconsin man was sentenced to 25 years in prison for child enticement and producing child sexual abuse material. Rodney A. Haynes, 59 years old, will remain on supervised release for the rest of his life after pleading guilty to charges. Court records show that in June 2024, Haynes, who had prior felony sexual assault conviction in 1995, met a 14-year-old girl from Outagamie County on Snapchat. He picked her up near her home at night, took her to a parking lot, and sexually assaulted her. Over the following months, Haynes continued to assault the girl across Outagamie and Brown County, including at his workplace after hours. Haynes supplied the victim with methamphetamine and recorded multiple photos and videos of the assaults. In January 2025, the Outagamie County Sheriff's Office, they received a tip, investigated it, and arrested Haynes at his workplace. Also, authorities seized his phone, which contained child sexual abuse material he had produced. At the sentencing, the judge highlighted the severity of Haynes' actions and said a lengthy prison term was needed to deliver justice, deter future crimes, and protect the public. Next one up, we go to Oshkosh, where a 52-year-old Oshkosh man was sentenced to 28 years in prison after being convicted of child pornography while on supervised release for a previous child sex crime. The sentence stems from David Dejanovich's federal indictment back on May 2025 for receiving child sexual abuse materials in April of 2024. Dejanovich is a lifetime registrant on the Wisconsin Sex Offender Registry because of multiple priors. Previously convicted of second-degree sexual assault of a child in Dodge County in 1993, with first-degree sexual assault conviction in 1998. At the time of his most recent crime, he was on supervised release for a prior child porn conviction in 2015. He'll spend 28 years in prison, and then he'll be on supervised release for the rest of his life. This one, very interesting. A Missouri man was sentenced to 18 months in prison during a federal court hearing in Wisconsin for his role in selling unprocessed poppy seeds online, intending for customers to soak them to extract potentially lethal drugs. This was sentenced on October 2nd. for conspiracy to distribute a material/chemical used to manufacture a controlled substance, distributing such material/chemical. Court records reportedly state that this began in September of 2020. Graziano is his name. Anthony Graziano. He marketed and sold unprocessed poppy seeds online for about 2 years, intending for customers to soak the product in liquid. The liquid in question are intended to extract opium alkaloids such as morphine, codeine, and thebaine. I don't know. I can tell I don't know my drugs too much. Graziano reportedly compared the poppy seed tea strength with opiates such as oxycodone, admitting the consumption brings a serious risk of overdose/death. He'll serve his 18-month sentence consecutive to a 50-month sentence handed down by the Eastern District of Missouri on a separate case. He was also forced to forfeit his home in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and about $20,000 in cash from his back. So that was all the court cases. Now we have some more breaking news out of Shawano County. A 74-year-old man was arrested after pulling a gun and fatally shooting a 67-year-old man on Wednesday night. Shawano County officials say a 911 call came in about 9:15 p.m. from a person reportedly in another building on the property, stating that a man had pulled a gun and shot his friend. Deputies and officers were reportedly sent to the address on County Road M, just west of Tigerton near Germania. The suspect allegedly attempted to enter the building where the caller had locked themselves in. A deputy responding to the scene said the suspect initially refused compliance. However, he eventually conceded, and officials searched the property, finding a dead man identified as 67-year-old man from Greenleaf in a garage. The suspect, the 74-year-old man, was from Clintonville area, and preliminary investigations indicate the three were connected through ownership of a hunting land in the area. The 74-year-old man was hospitalized with non-life-threatening injuries, but is since booked on homicide charges, which are being referred to the district attorney's office. All right, keep it moving on. Fond du Lac. Down in Fond du Lac County Thursday morning, there was a pursuit with recovering methamphetamine and a stolen firearm. Shortly before 8 a.m., deputies learned of a stolen vehicle traveling north on Interstate 41 near County Highway Y. A Wisconsin State Patrol trooper, located the vehicle and attempted to stop it. While the car initially slowed down, it took an unusually long time to come to a complete stop. After a Fond du Lac County Sheriff's deputy arrived for backup, the vehicle immediately fled, leading officers on a 3.1-mile pursuit. The chase ended near West Johnson Street and Interstate 41 when the suspect collided with another vehicle, someone that was uninvolved. Law enforcement surrounded the vehicle and the suspect exited, was taken into custody without further incident. During a search of the car, deputies found about 2.5 ounces of methamphetamine scattered throughout the interior and a loaded pistol that had been reportedly stolen from Missouri. An empty pistol holster was also observed on the driver's seat. Two uninvolved drivers were hit during the crash. One suffered minor injuries and was treated at the scene. The other was uninjured. West Johnson was closed for about 1 hour while the scene was processed. The suspect, who was unnamed, had a lengthy criminal history in Wisconsin dating back to 2006 and was on supervised release at the time. Also had active warrants from the Wisconsin Department of Corrections and Calumet County. He was booked in jail on multiple charges, including eluding, first-degree recklessly endangering safety, felon in possession of a firearm, possession with intent to deliver methamphetamine, and operating while intoxicated, his second offense. All right, one more here, and then we can hit break. My Lord. A lot of crime, a lot of speaking. I'll tell you what, they really make me rattle these off here today. A fourth adult allegedly involved in a chronic child neglect case that reportedly left a 14-year-old near death has been charged. Criminal complaint acquired by Local 5 alleges that 50-year-old Melissa Goodman was among the four adults charged and accused of negligence in her duty to provide necessary care to a child, leading to serious bodily harm. An investigation reportedly led officers to the trailer home of Melissa Goodman and her husband Walter in Oneida on August 21st. Melissa's daughter, Savannah Lefevre, and Kayla Stemler lived in the trailer home and faced charges as well. The complaint says Walter called authorities on August 21st, stating that their 14-year-old was throwing up and had been sick for the last few days with extreme weight loss. Officers responded and noted the 14-year-old's collarbone and other bones were prominent, meaning they're quite skinny. According to the complaint, the 14-year-old was taken to the hospital where they weighed just 35 pounds as a 14-year-old. That's not one to, that's just a really unfortunate situation. Their blood sugar was 24, which is very low as well. There were no reported medical records in the past 5 years of the 14-year-old. Text messages also allegedly showed the four adults saying derogatory things about the 14-year-old, referring to them as dummy and stupid. Melissa's charged with 3 counts of child neglect, causing great bodily harm. That's punishable to up to 25 years in prison, and then 2 counts of chronic neglect of a child, consequences, emotional damage. That's punishable by up to 15 years in prison. We'll continue to provide updates on all 4 cases, including Goodman, as a preliminary or initial hearing was set for Thursday afternoon. That has not been updated on Wisconsin court records yet, but when it will be, or when it does update, we will go ahead and provide that update on our website at wearegreenbay.com. Excuse me. I'm losing it here, guys. I'm doing too much talking. Let's go to break. When we come back, it's Sports Talk. We're going to go through my predictions for Week 11 of the NFL. Blake and I yesterday did the Packers' remaining schedule. Today, we'll do the schedule for Week 11. All right, we'll be back right after these commercial breaks, guys. All right, guys, got about, looks like 6 minutes here left for the remainder of the show. I'm going to bring my microphone over here. I'm sorry that gets a little bit annoying when people move their microphones, but bear with me here. We're going to go ahead and do Cam 1? That looks good. It looks good to me. Now, we got Thursday Night Football. Patriots and Jets really shouldn't be too close of a game, honestly. I think this game's going to be like 33-14. I don't see a way the Patriots will lose this game. I do have a prize picks out on the game tonight. If you want to follow along, not saying you have to, but I do have, I believe, Drake May over in his passing yards. I know I have Travion Henderson. He had a very big breakout game last week. I actually have him under in rushing yards. I think this is more of a passing game for Drake May, even though they should run the ball more with the Jets being kind of a crummy defense, and it might be a blowout eventually. But give me Travion Henderson in the under. I have Breece Hall in the over rushing yards, and then Isaiah Davis under rushing yards. And then the final one, what was the final one? Let's go see, actually. We could do a real-time check. It's just the way it happens when you're throwing prize picks out there. Nick Folk, the kicker for the Jets, over 5.5 kicking points. All I need is 2 field goals from him, and we'll be good. So, like I said, the final score maybe like 33-13, 33 to, I don't know, something like that. I can't, whatever. International game this week. Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins will be playing against the Commanders. I think Tua, he kind of has looked decent the last couple weeks. Well, maybe not last couple. Let's just say last week. And even last week, I don't know if he was decent. But Washington's defense is so banged up. They do not look very good. I like Tua in this matchup. I don't know where the game is actually being played, if I'm being honest. Shows you how much I keep up with the international games. I'm usually sleeping at least till the noon games. Unfortunately, the Packers do play a noon game today, which means we're going to have a little side-by-side red zone action on one half of my monitor. Packers game on the other side, and then I'll be playing video games like I always do on the main one. Panthers and Falcons. This is kind of surprising. When I looked this up, I wasn't aware the Falcons were 3-6. Do they get one back here? I actually like Carolina in this one to go 6-5. Carolina goes above 500. Rico Dowdle's looked really good in the backfield, which kind of stinks for me because I was a big Chuba Hubbard believer, but we'll go with the Panthers in that one. This will be a really good game, but I think the Bills just have a little bit more. I actually like this game to be a 3-point game. I think the spread right now is 5.5 for the Bills. So if you're looking to take spread, I like Tampa Bay in the spread to keep it close. Bills ultimately get it done. This game, 1-8 for Cam Ward and the Titans. They're just not good. And Cam Ward's in his rookie year. I'm going to take the Texans. Bears and Vikings. This is where a lot of people think the Bears will finally start to, they've gotten, we're a Green Bay news station. They've gotten pretty, I don't want to say they've gotten lucky, but they've had a lot of comeback wins. But Ben Johnson's kind of got something cooking there. And, as much as it pains me to say, Bears are looking good. I think they beat Vikings at home this week. Packers, Giants. I mean, the Packers are playing a bad team. Jameis Winston is at quarterback. They just fired Brian Dable. This has all, the way this season has gone, this has all the writings for New York upset, but I can't bring myself to do it. I think the Packers cruise to a victory. Bengals, Steelers always seem to have the Bengals number. I'm going to go Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers there. And then Chargers and Jaguars. This game's kind of a toss-up for me, but I think I'll give Harbaugh the edge there with a win over the Jaguars in Jacksonville. Probably the game of the week. Both teams, huge NFC West implications. Rams and Seahawks. I like the Seahawks in this one. A lot of people are favoring the Rams. I think the Seahawks get it done. The Seahawks are for real. And like Blake and I talked about on the fantasy football show that aired yesterday, Sam Darnold looks really good right now. And Jackson Smith and Jigba's a heck of a receiver. They've got Kenneth Walker, who's been, a little hit and miss in the backfield. But this Seattle team definitely has turned a lot of heads this year. And I think they're going to get it done in LA. Now, Brock Purdy just announced the starter. He will start. He is the starter, but finally back from injury. I think they take care of the Marvin Harrison less. What's his team's name? My Lord, the Cardinals. And then, Lamar Jackson's just cooking right now. He's got things headed in the right direction for those Baltimore Ravens. This is another big one. The Broncos, Bo Nix. They're at home. Denver's a tough place to play in. I still got to give it to the Chiefs, though. I think the Chiefs, Mahomes is playing really well this year, and he's got a lot of weapons. Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce's always an option. So I'll go with the Chiefs there. And then Sunday Night Football, extremely fun matchup here. I'm going to go with the Eagles at home. I think the Lions just don't have enough. Now, the Packers held the Eagles to 10 points, which I think it was 10 points, which was incredible, but unfortunately couldn't get it done. So the Lions will lose one game there on the NFC North, the NFC North, on the Packers and Bears. Vikings, they just continue to struggle. Monday Night Football, I don't know. I mean, who knows? This is a toss-up for me, too. I'll give it to the Cowboys just because I like their offense better. I think the Cowboys' offense has a better chance than the Raiders' offense. Both defenses look really whatever. So we're going to wrap up the show here. I want to thank you guys for watching. Be back tomorrow for a Friday episode. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday.